The following is a presentation of TFNN. Live at TFNN, the Power Trading Hour, with your host, David White. Now, the author of The Path of Least Resistance and the Tech Insider, David White.
And welcome to another wonderful edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host, David White. Of course, always at the headquarters of technical trading and investing, TFNN.com. It is September 30th, and in all the brouhaha, that we have out here in the political world, it's always nice to think about what happened in the past. And, of course, today, in 1954, the U.S. delivered the world's first nuclear submarine years ahead of schedule. In 1952, the Nautilus keel was laid by President Harry S. Truman. And on January 21st, 1954, First Lady Mamie Eisenhower broke a bottle of champagne across its bow, and it was launched into the Thames River at Groton, Connecticut. And, of course, shortly later went into service and under the polar ice cap and asserting our Cold War dominance. Boy, such a long time ago. Hardly seems like I haven't lived without a nuclear submarine. Kind of interesting. And also that books were the impotence for submarines years to come. 2,000 or 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea talked about a power source that was almost unfathomable, that glowed. I don't know if they were actually thinking of nuclear energy back then, but kind of very prophetic that probably, 100 years, 80 years, 70 years before there was one. Someone dreamt of one. If you can dream of it, you can build it. And we did. And 1954 on this day. What else do we have going on? A lot of yelling and screaming over the weekend in politics. And I did find one thing that really brought it home for me, and it was someone talking about the Soviet Union and just how come America couldn't understand communism in the Soviet Union. And he says there's an old parable that goes with the thinking of the Russians, and if you get it, you can understand the Russians. If you don't, you never will. But it's the story of Ivan and Boris. Both were peasants, but Ivan had a goat and Boris did not. Then Boris happened upon a magic lamp, and a genie offered to grant him one wish. Poor Boris could have had asked the genie for anything in the world, but after thinking a short while, Boris said, "I want Ivan's goat to die." And they said, if you understood that, then you understood the thinking of an oppressed people that have been oppressed so long. Kind of like the battered wife syndrome. You just really can't ever believe that people wanted to live that way, and their happiness was the misery of others. And I have a feeling that we have a lot of people that are wishing everybody else's goat would die. And I hope that we all stand back from the precipice and cooler heads will prevail in the coming days. I've heard people say all kinds of stupid and just bovine excrement things, especially today. I heard somebody calling somebody else a terrorist. I thought, what a slap in the face to people that died on 9/11, that you're talking about somebody not wanting to do what you want to do politically and vote a certain way as a terrorist. It seemed to me the height of hyperbole. And I have a feeling these are the kind of people that would rather see somebody else's goat die than ask for $1 million for themselves. Well, we'll go on here. Hopefully things get better. I think we've got a special sound of Tim Cook today meeting with the Godfather.
I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse.
And that, of course, is Carl Icahn talking to Tim Cook. And I almost thought this was an adversarial relationship at the beginning. Tim Cook, if he can keep the stock price over $500 adjusted for when he took the reins of power, if he can hold it up over $500, he has $500 million to gain. He will be one of the best paid CEOs in all of Silicon Valley. And he doesn't have to do anything but keep it above $500 for a number of years. The question is he going to get in bed with the Godfather now? He just doesn't need it under $500 in, 4 years now? 3.5, 4 years, something like that. But, of course, when the Godfather comes knocking, he has $30 billion of his own money to push anywhere he has. He's used it to savage people like Michael Dell when there was probably no chance of doing it other than despite of costing Michael Dell some money. And it's very interesting to see the politics of the giant operator coming back to Wall Street after I'd say, there have always been operators, but there hasn't been anybody on the scale of Carl Icahn. No fund, all his own money. He can do anything he wants. And this harkens back to the days of Keene and some of the other big Wall Street names that made their fortunes on railroads and steel, only to give a great deal of it back in 1929 and the years following it. But he's going to be meeting him today. I haven't heard much about this, overshadowed by, of course, the political news. But I suspect that I thought at the first it was going to be adversarial, but I think both of them have the same thing in mind. They want to jack the stock up. I think Tim Cook would be naive to think that that old Carl Icahn wants to hang around until his 5 years are up. I think he'll jack it up, and then he'll vamoose, leaving Tim Cook holding the bag. So, I think Tim Cook's probably pretty smart. The question is, how does he extricate himself from this situation where the Godfather's invested in his stock and get out of it without old Godfather giving him the Michael Dell treatment? But it's going to be interesting nonetheless. Mark Cuban started his insider trading trial today. It is a civil trial. The SEC sued Cuban in 2008. He went directly after the regulators. He accused the SEC staff of bias, targeting them because of his political views and wealth. And they indeed go after him for that reason. Doesn't mean he's not guilty. But they probably would have passed on him. The SEC Inspector General, government watchdog, said staffers made inappropriate comments. I would say that that's about the lightest tone, inappropriate comments. I think they made all kinds of comments about where he should spend eternity, and I don't think it was in the great spot. Not exactly sure why they hated him so much, but apparently a lot of people did dislike him. And some people say the political views, but I think a lot of people hated him because he was yelled at the refs on the sideline from his ownership of the Dallas basketball team. But I don't agree with probably any kind of his political views, but I certainly wouldn't go after him with the SEC because I didn't like him. But he has a tendency to be out there. And I'd say he's left wing of MSNBC, but I kind of think that political speech, the more the merrier. Limiting speech is probably the worst thing that a country could do. And when you are persecuted because of your political beliefs, whether you're a Tea Party member or a member of the extreme far left, it is just another voice. And I welcome it. But the question is whether or not he's going to be able to drag enough of this in to get a not guilty verdict. The worst thing he's going to have to do is give up some money, and the money is not all that big. So to him, he's fighting these people. Everybody else said he just should have settled, and he doesn't want to go down that way. He thinks that he had absolutely no obligation to tell people and not sell his shares because he wasn't an insider. And it's very questionable because it was a Canadian company and he's a U.S. citizen and a bunch of other things. He's going to bring it up, and he intends to testify, and we're probably going to be able to hear that in the next couple of days. A lot of people like him on Shark Tank. I don't know. I'm not much of a fan of him. I dislike the way SCC came after him. He may be guilty, but they probably would have let him pass if they would have agreed with his politics. And, of course, we are seeing some other things going on out here. And if I can actually remember where all these things go, it's that.
Take him to Detroit. No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
Yes, take him to Detroit. If you don't know that sound quote, it comes from probably the greatest movie of all time, Kentucky Fried Movie. The last 22 or 25 minutes are a blistering parody of Enter the Dragon. And it's just hysterical of all get out. But, of course, Mr. Icahn, who owns the dreaded mountain, is torturing people. And, of course, in 1976, even then, he was sending them to Detroit. Of course, Detroit is going bankrupt. And, of course, amid a huge exodus of residents, plummeting tax revenues, skyrocketing home abandonment, Detroit's leaders engaged in a $1 billion borrowing binge, created new taxes, forced even more people out, and failed to cut expenses when they needed to. Now we've sent them yet another $300 million today. They're still going bankrupt. And the question is, how much bad money do we throw after good when we find a city that starts to live like Lord of the Flies, ignores political and financial responsibility, and expects me, a poor, humble, and soft servant, to actually pay for it? Well, it doesn't matter. They had insurance, and most of the bonds are going to be insured that they have. The question is, do we ever learn anything from these cities that go belly up? And it apparently, at the moment, no one's willing to look and see why that happened and avoid it in the future. But a lot of finger pointing going around. But you would think this is the largest bankruptcy, I think back to 1975 or 73, that it'd be affecting the market. But everybody knew it was coming, and then, for the most part, everybody was insured. And it's...
Andy Hecht, the host of the Commodities Hour, recently launched his newsletter service, the Technomental Commodity Report, and only 6 weeks in, Andy has already recorded a triple-digit winner. Andy advised his subscribers to purchase a long-term call option at 46 cents on July 11th, and then sent out a special update Friday, August 16th, advising his subscribers to close that position at $1.40. That's a 204% profit in just 5 weeks. The Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht is released each Thursday morning, and right now you can get a month-long free trial to this subscription while locking in the low introductory rate of only $39 a month. Andy Hecht has been a commodities trader for over 3 decades. Let his experience work for you. Sign up for your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report today at TFNN.com.
with the launch of Tiger TV. TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pesavento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC. Wouldn't it be great if you could get a red light, green light indicator that gives you signals on 25 different futures contracts? Now you can with Taz Signal Box. This red light, green light market profile system dynamically updates 24 hours a day and provides you with important trend and trade signals on 9 different commodities, 9 different indices, and 8 different currencies. Right now, you can receive a 2-week free trial to Taz Signal Box. For all the details and to find out how the Signal Box works, visit the front page of TFNN.com. McEwen Mining is a high-growth, mid-tier producer in the Americas with a market capitalization of $1 billion. Experienced mining executive Rob McEwen, as chairman, CEO, and president, owns 25% of the outstanding shares of McEwen Mining and has put in place an ambitious business plan with the goal of qualifying for inclusion in the S&P 500 by 2015. With $70 million in cash and liquid assets as of the end of 2012 and completely debt-free, McEwen Mining is poised for growth. Production in 2013 is forecasted to grow at 24%, reaching 130,000 gold equivalent ounces, and over the next 3 years, McEwen Mining projects that their production will increase to 290,000 gold equivalent ounces, almost a 3-fold increase from last year's totals. If you'd like to find out more about McEwen Mining, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE or TSX under the symbol MUX.
Dave takes your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
And we've got a few things going on today. We'll take a look here pretty quick what is it? Unilever. Ben & Jerry's has not been very, very good to them. And Unilever is down on that news of Ben & Jerry's ice cream not doing that well. One of the ones that had a bigger move out here. I want to check back in. We did have some political news moving through the market here, so I want to get back up here and check these and see if I can real quick. It doesn't seem like to move the market that much. We are off 8.7 points and 1.84 billion shares. So the volume is extremely light coming back down here, and I suspect we'll probably find some late day buyers. Remember, this is probably the first major day of fund buying, and you want to watch the last 15-30 minutes to find out what happened. And when the dark pools disengorge the true purchases of the day. But we're going to see this several days, of course, last 3 days or first 2 days of the month, which basically gives us 2 more days. Most of the people stayed away from buying, I think, last Thursday and Friday. And funds, of course, can go long any time then, and probably waiting for better and better prices. We'll probably see a little bit of nibbling at the end of today. My understanding from trim tabs with the money flow is that there is some money, not a whole lot, coming in this month. And that would suggest that we're probably going to see at least the market go sideways for the next 2 days based on money flow. Of course, if we get somebody throwing a Molotov cocktail politically, hopefully, not figuratively, or literally, figuratively is what I meant. We're going to see that, but it is a light volume move down. So if you are bullish in this market, this is a more of a bullish sign than just about anything I've seen here lately. Very light volume in a pullback, breaking what a lot of people think are technical levels in the marketplace, but not really seeing that kind of movement that I like to see. Of course, P&G on that news also having the same kind of reaction. This is coming back down to this gap level that has existed for a while. It kind of spiked through it on one day, and I don't know if that's actually a bad tick or real stuff. I'm going to have to go back and look at that day, but certainly have a nice gap up that goes and extends back to the last real major low out here, which is the June 20th low, $75.10. Of course, the next day you gap up, and that day you gap up on 20 million shares. 8.2 million shares suggests that we're probably finding some level of support in this marketplace, at least in some of these bigger ones like, Lovelever and Procter & Gamble. The VIX has been dropping most of the day. I haven't checked on it in a little bit, but yeah, it's kind of there. Let me go back here and look at the intraday chart just to see if we got anything out here. Yeah, it spiked a little bit here just at the couple minutes before the show started, but still relatively low. I think we're going to see a pop as soon as the resolution politically comes. We're going to see probably 14 or 13 on the VIX, and at that point it's going to be a real decision on whether or not to start shorting the living daylights out of this marketplace. But I think we have one more pop left in this market, and then we're probably going to see when the political issues are done, see the Fed come back and start talking about actually dropping the amount of fund buying and purchasing, and the dreaded T word will be coming back. Trying to think what else do we have. Tesla, TSLA. A lot of other data coming out showing that in the last week and a half, a huge amount of retail investors are jumping into Tesla. Almost always a sign of impending doom. Nothing technically here that says this thing is over, but a lot of data that comes from retail investors like Ameritrade and that kind of stuff. They don't sell your individual trades, but they do as a lot convey information, at least that's my understanding, to the broader marketplace. And there are some reports falling around now saying the last 10 to 15 days, a huge preponderance of the money coming in now has been in Tesla. Eventually this thing is going to pull back, and I suspect when it does, it's going to be huge and great. Of course, no one wanted to buy it at 40. They all want to buy it at 190 for now. RC is high.
If you're an active trader looking for that extra edge when it comes to trading and investments, then now is a great time to get a 2-week free trial to Tom O'Brien's daily market letter, Market Insights. Tom O'Brien's daily newsletter, Market Insights, comes out every market day at around 9:30 a.m. and provides Tom's daily commentary on the broad market, including the Dow, NASDAQ, and S&P, plus specific trade recommendations. There's even an update published most afternoons to keep you informed about the day's market activity. He'll give you the entry price, price target, and stop price of each stock and option trade. With Market Insights, there's nothing left to guessing. For all the details and to get your 2-week free trial to Market Insights started today, visit TFNN.com.
No matter where you listen to TFNN programming, we want you to know you can always access your favorite shows on demand through TFNN.com. TFNN airs live programming every market day from 9 a.m. till 6 p.m. Eastern, and you can view each program by accessing Tiger TV through our homepage. We even have an easy link for all mobile devices, including iPhones and iPads, located at the top right-hand corner of the TFNN homepage. You can use your smartphone to view Tiger TV, but if you don't have a mobile connection that can keep up with streaming live video, then you can simply visit TFNN.mobi in the browser of your smartphone for live streaming audio of all of our programs. The mission of TFNN is to educate our audience directly and interactively through our interactive website and radio call and talk shows. TFNN is able to teach all levels of investors the technical skills needed to trade in today's marketplace. In order to get the best information possible, TFNN has assembled the most respected financial minds in the country to provide the most current news and comprehensive advice available. TFNN.com. Educating investors.
Daryl Martin coined the phrase diagnostic trading, and we're happy to announce that his diagnostic box spread analyzer has finally been released. The Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer helps you easily identify the best box spreads on Nadex in seconds, plus you receive access to the diagnostic deviation levels, as well as step-by-step training videos teaching you how to trade Nadex spreads so you can quickly master the mechanics of this simple yet powerful trading instrument. By pulling live data from the Nadex exchange, the Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer does all the math for you, calculating risk, reward potential, distance to break even for both outright spreads and spreads used to hedge the underlying market. Visit the front page of TFNN.com today to get your 2-week free trial to Daryl Martin's Diagnostic Box Spread Analyzer and gain access to the valuable information it can provide when trading the Nadex box spreads. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
This segment is brought to you by Harmony Gold. For more information, just click the Harmony Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Yes, and it is a little different. Of course, we're all shocked. Everybody's a little bit woozy from this weekend and all the news. But yes, the last episode of Breaking Bad did air last night. I don't know how many people loved Breaking Bad. I talked about it early on, and along with The Walking Dead. But it seems like AMC is coming up with some of the best shows on television, even as good or better than Showtime and HBO. But yeah, you can always go to Netflix and binge watch the rest of them. I had actually saved up the last 6 episodes and had a party, and everybody came over, and we told everybody not watch, and we'll have a deal and watch the last 6 episodes, and then go ahead and watch the last one. So we did that, and everybody had a really good time. Walter White, my last namesake, always interesting to see how they wrap up these shows. At least it wasn't a horrible wrap-up like Lost or The Sopranos. Actually very good out there. So what are we looking at in here? We're going to start looking at stocks that are starting to move. And Hang on just a second here. I've got to get a couple of things situated. Well, there it is. And see what else we have. Moving on. TI. Real quick. Telecom Italia. No big deal. CMG. Chipotle, yeah, nice little move up here today. Up 2%. Upgraded to overweight from equal weight at Morgan Stanley. We'll take a little closer look at this. See if there's anything out here. Light volume move up. This continues to be a fairly heavily shorted stock, and probably going to see a little bit more of this into fund buying. Not uncommon out here. We're looking at some of these stocks that got hammered back up to the previous highs. Food costs, especially meat costs for Chipotle Mexican Grill, are highlighted. The question is, are they going to be able to keep this up, or are they going to fall apart once again, as they did over the last year? And it is certainly not seeing a lot of volume in the stock up here, but certainly seeing higher prices. I'm trying to remember the other one that we were looking at up here. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters. What is that, GME? No, it's not. GMCR. Hearing a lot of talk about traders shorting this. It has, of course, technically broken down, but when you look at it today, it has finally made the previous low out here that had heavy volume. That was on the August 8th low at 72.49 with 12 million shares. You had 3.4 million shares so far today. So we're probably going to find these things finding support more than blowing through them, especially with the light volume we had in the marketplace today. Of course, just a reminder, you can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. That's 877-927-6648. Give me a call. We've got, for the most part, a quiet day in the marketplace, much quieter than most. I bet if you ask at 9 o'clock with the hysteria on CNBC and some of the other shows, we'd probably be talking a lot more than, 8 points down? What time is it? 6 points down now. And 1.9 billion shares. I think we'd probably be talking a lot more. But Green Mountain is one. Another one that people are pushing out here today, notably Kramer, is one that I think the wheels will fall off on eventually. This is a GameStop, actually a fairly bullish chart out here. I suspect that they could do well through Christmas. And I'm going to be writing about them, I believe, this week in the Tech Insider. But very close to looking at a stock that I think is going to mirror Barnes & Noble and the rest of the booksellers out here in not too future. Way going to Ron in Denver. How you doing today, Ron?
Hello, David. I was wondering if you'd take a look at London Liquidators and your thoughts on it. They got hit with about Homeland Security and the environmental people and everybody and their brother.
Yeah, they're going after these people, of course. For those people that didn't see Friday, they gapped down. It was a thing like Gibson guitars where they came in there, thought maybe they had some rosewood. I haven't heard anything more about the raid that they had Friday, but my guess is that when it's all said and done, it's more of a lot of trying to scare people into submission than probably a lot of things that Lumber Liquidator has done. Just very tough in a large company to have an ongoing criminal RICO type enterprise of bringing in a suspect wood or things the EPA doesn't like. But it's holding up here so far today. Have you heard any more news about it today? I haven't heard anything.
No, I haven't heard anything. I was just wondering, something like this this won't blow over quickly. I mean, I would imagine this many agencies, it's probably going to hang around a little bit.
Yeah, and the question is, what are they really going after? If it was just a big fishing expedition, or if they did something they didn't like. I mean, we've got the government going after many people because of their political beliefs. And, we've got, no one really likes them, but we've got Jamie Dimon getting rather persecuted because he came out and talked not illustriously of our current president. And I think that he's gotten most agency after him. I don't know this is the same thing in lumber liquidators. I'd have to dig into it.
I had heard a little bit that they made a big contribution to Rush Limbaugh. I don't know.
Well,
why would they do that?
He did advertise on that because I listened at noon for the news here, local news on the radio, and they are big sponsors of a show. You never really know, but even people like I said earlier today seemed like when their SEC is going after Mark Cuban. A lot of these things are probably the other way on that one. But it's interesting. You're going to have to dig it out. The Gibson guitars thing was very, very clear and rather embarrassing for the people that went in there with guns drawn. This one is a little bit murkier because you really don't know what they're fishing for out there. And apparently they, when I did read about this on Friday night a little bit more, pretty vague on what they're fishing for in the search warrants. So maybe there is something out there, but like I said Friday, I don't think there are a lot of guys working on the docks back there with AK-47s ready to open up on the marshals when they came and served the warrant. And everything I heard said it was rather excessive. Normally when you hear that in a big business like that, that is meant to send a message. And probably not the nice ways. I'd watch the thing and just see, but I suspect that probably like Jamie Dimon, you're going to see these things eventually settled, and the message is don't go up against the political elites or don't speak ill of them. But everything I heard was that it was politically motivated on Friday. So we'll find out. But just watch it. Maybe there is something there. Just because they came after him and it was politically motivated doesn't mean there's nothing there, right? So
no, you don't. There's. So okay, just wondered if you'd heard anything. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
To me, it's not worth spending a lot of time on because it's going to be pretty murky and you're not going to know a lot. And I'll guarantee you that the people on Wall Street will. And, they're going to be able to dig into this thing a lot more than we will. And so probably just going to write this one off for a little while until this dust settles. We're going to go to John in Philly. How you doing today, John?
Hey, David, good afternoon to you, sir.
Yep.
David, I wanted to ask you if you could pull up the daily chart on XONE, XONE.
Yep.
I know you've been on top of the 3D printing industry, the Pure Plays, 3D Systems, Stratasys, XONE, and of course the ones who are really big boys are, the likes of, who's the Oregon-based company, PCP. But anyway, XONE and 3D are both trading something like 10 to 15 times sales, and so are obviously wildly expensive. And XONE hit a high of like 75, and within a span of just 45 days, it's down 40%. I'm just wondering if you see any, fundamentally, if you see any reason to be interested in this name looking the next year, and where you might consider an entry point if fundamentally you found it to be of interest.
I like this company early on. It became kind of an MCP kind of thing where everybody trading it just traded it like football cards or Beanie Babies or whatever. I talked about this one probably 2 weeks before it cratered. Was short at around $71 or something in the newsletter.
Congratulations on that, by the way.
Well, I'd actually even talked about it on the Tech Insider Hour and told some guy back on August 23rd or something, that watch out because there was a lot of stock coming to market. XONE was one of these sliver deals where I think either 80 or 90% of the shares were not tradable through lockup. So you had that. Then, of course, I was short them, got out a little early, and, of course, the next day they decided to do a secondary. This XONE is a large format printer. They sell to a lot of businesses. Yes. And they only had about $20 million worth of sales going into their IPO.
Exactly.
This wasn't a big company. I liked what they built. They are a real company. What happened, though, is they kind of front-loaded everything, trying to get access to the capital markets and grow. When you look at others in this whole space, which is normally Stratasys and 3D, what you find out is these guys now are expanding at such rapid rates, they're going to need huge amounts of cash. And I think 3D Systems has already come back and done that once. I think we're probably going to look at the same thing, Stratasys. A lot of business, a lot of people coming after them, and there's a lot of acquisitions, and these are going to be cash-hungry companies in the near future, not throwing off a lot of cash. They're going to be consuming it. And that's the downside to these super high-growth companies. A lot of this stuff isn't software, where you're going to be making monster margins on the backside. This is truly the laser printer business for HP, where you're hoping that you sell the consumables on the backside. And there's companies getting into making plastics, just like people that make third-party cartridges for laser printers for half the price. And that's the whole unknown is just how well that kind of third-party plastic manufacturing is going to get in the way of these guys making money on the consumable side of this business. But two things. One, that's kind of a worry for me out here short-term, because we don't really know the answer. The other side of it is just how fast these guys are burning through money. 3D Systems, Stratasys, and, of course, nobody faster than XONE, SSYS. And most of these, I suspect, are going to be leased into October under pretty heavy pressure. And that's there's just so many shares of this stuff coming online now. And a lot of these guys and some of the company founders, I love 3D, DDD, and the one thing I dislike is the CEO out there hawking his stock at this early day, instead of talking about maybe new sales and stuff like that, really kind of stoking the stock price more than anything. I've seen him on Bloomberg just a few days ago. And I haven't really seen much from the Stratasys guys. They keep their head down. DDD is all about acquisition, software, and hardware. And, of course, I suspect that that's going to hit the bottom line. I'd like to see a real pullback in 3D Systems to something probably like in the 34s or 35s. I think that's pretty possible. In XONE, I think it's going to $29, maybe $25, something like that.
David, thanks so much for that discussion. I just wanted to ask a quick follow-up. With your knowledge of this technology and this business, precision cast parts, are they using this type of technology with their advanced materials technology to use as the source of construction for some of their aircraft parts?
Pretty much everybody's already doing it, including Boeing. So it's not new. Yeah. But we'll talk about this when we get back.
Thanks so much.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try patterns, profits, and peace of mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
Have you subscribed to the Gold Report yet? On Wednesday, August 14th and Thursday, August 15th, Tom O'Brien advised his Gold Report subscribers to close out 6 of their 9 open positions, all winning trades ranging from a 10.69% profit to an incredible 48% profit in just one equity. With the 600th weekly Gold Report issue fast approaching, Tom O'Brien brings an incredible wealth of knowledge and experience to the gold market and the equities within the industry. That's almost 12 years since this powerful newsletter first began. And right now, you can get a 30-day free trial to the Gold Report by visiting TFNN.com. Make sure you're a subscriber as this volatile gold market makes its way back into positive territory after declining all the way from $1,900 to under $1,200 an ounce in only 2 years. Get your 30-day free trial today by visiting TFNN.com.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
What's the one thing that pulls people back from the breakthrough that they're moving towards? What's the only thing that really stops people from taking action? You and I both know the answer, and sure, we can come up with the reasons why we're not where we want to be, but the only reason that we don't do more with our life is fear. Or if you're an overachiever, call it stress. Simply put, there's something that happened to us in our past that's holding us back from the life we deserve, yet you and I are okay, we're here. So why should we let our past control our future? Exactly. We shouldn't. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN.com, and when it comes to your trading and investing, I can help you overcome your fear of loss. Together, we'll turn weakness into strength with a system I've developed called Mastering Probability. I'll teach you how to make your money work harder for you than you do for it. I'll teach you the tools that provide financial freedom. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com, click on my name, Steve Rhodes, and begin your journey of mastering probability risk-free. It's time to become a pioneer of your future versus a prisoner of your past.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Wow, those breaks go cool. I don't think we still have a caller on, do we? Nope. One of the questions was, what's the difference between these printer companies, and probably what you need to look at, especially when you look at some of these bigger companies, is what they are printing. Is it small or large? Of course, if you're talking about things that take a forklift to move, there are 3D printer companies printing in all kinds of things from metal to plastics. And it's called laser sintering if it's metal. But there are some big parts up to 6 or 7 feet on the new 787 that are being printed. So it's not anything new. Now, I'm looking at a company in Europe now that is not public, but will be coming public, I think, in the next 6 months. And I've written about them in the Tech Insider newsletter. So there's going to be some other people in this space, but that's probably one of the reasons that you're also going to see XONE, the most volatile of stocks is each one of their systems is about $1.5 million. So when you're talking about $1.5 million, $5 million sales, it's not about how much consumable plastic these people use. It's all about the initial upfront sale, and that's just going to be the feast and famine part of the business. Right after they went public, XONE had a lot of sales. So other companies out here like Precision Cast Parts, Stratasys, a lot of these others out here, it's all just how good that they can get their company set up for what's going to be a battle of manufacturing, and who finds the sweet spot for how much a consumer will pay for the consumables and keep paying them. And of course, HP was the king of monetizing that in laser printers and inkjets. And for the low end part of the business, that's it. For the high end part of the business, it's what you can do, how fast you can print. And at $1.5 million to $5 million for some of the most expensive of these 3D printers, just how big is the market? You're normally going to be selling to Boeing or Airbus or Ford or GM or Chrysler or major Fortune 500 companies, and that tends to end up with like one quarter with a lot of volume, next quarter without so much. Like XONE had a bunch of sales kind of lined up right for their IPO, got those out the door, and then haven't had as much, along with needing extra money to continue to expand and compete against some of these other larger companies out here. So just a thought. I was actually doing something during the break. Almost forgot that we were coming back for this one last segment. Anyway, as we look at the market out here, off 7.5 points, I'll just do a little editorial here. I don't know if you can be sitting always in front of your computer with your mouse finger on the trigger, but that's almost what's going to be necessary in the next few days. And of course, one news story is enough to move this market up or down probably 20 or 30 S&P points. To me, I just don't see being involved in the market right now is a good play. I think that we're going to know the next move in this marketplace by how the pop comes in, and I expect one over the next week or so. I suspect we're going to pop back up. We're probably going to get very close to that 1715, 1730 area on the S&P cash. And there we're going to decide whether we're going 200 or 300 points more up in the S&P or 200 or 300 down. See you tomorrow, same bat channel, same bat time.
Are you ready to ride the next bull market wave? Catch the Chapman Wave. Using the Chapman Wave methodology, Basil's very comprehensive daily newsletter, The Opening Call, gives the short, intermediate, and long-term analysis for the key indexes. In his Trader's Corner, he gives a brief market summary and expectation for the day with possible trades, both long and short, which are reviewed daily. A position, subscribers sold recently for plus 42% on parts and plus 64% on rest. Had Hertz Global as a core position for 6 months. A current position, entered as a turnaround company, is trading over 100% of its entry point as a portion sold earlier for a plus 21% gain. Subscribers to the Opening Call see the Chapman Wave techniques demonstrated and explained daily to also educate investors. Now you can get a free 2-week trial. Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.